Anybody ever tell you that you're a mesh? Maybe not, but we're going to take a look at how you can do meshes in Illustrator by popular request. I'm sharing my screen. Sharing is caring. Here we are. These are a couple of meshes. Look at that. So what's cool is you can draw a shape and then fill it with color and create these very smooth blends. Remember, we're still in a vector program, so all these blends are actually vector blends. This is not a raster smush or an airbrush work. This is, I could blow this up to the size of a building and it would still be that smooth because we're in a vector program. So let me just show you how this thing works. If I look at it inside outline mode, then I can really see what's going on. There's my outside shape. And then inside that, with my direct selection tool, I can pick that particular node. And it says that is a cyan fill. This one, on the other hand, is a black fill. This one down here is a magenta fill. See what's happening? So basically, each node inside this shape is available to me to choose a color that I can put in there. And then it will say, all right, if you want yellow here, but you want magenta down here, I got to blend through the nodes that are in between in order to create in between colors. So let's draw one. Let's just draw a shape and you can see what I'm talking about. Let's do a blob here. Blob, 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 blob. So there's our blob. And what we're going to do right now is make a mesh out of this. It's not right now, right? It's just like that. So if I grab the mesh tool and come over with my blob selected, it says you can't do it. Let me just deselect and now select it. Now I can get my mesh tool and say, mesh me. Oh, for crying out loud. There we go. So now I'm basically working on this shape and it will create a new mesh for me. I can click it wherever I want to create a mesh. And it starts to create these nodes. So I've got a way to come back in here and then change those colors. So now if I use my direct selection tool, this one right now says it's yellow. This one's also yellow. They're all the same, right? I haven't changed anything yet. But if I come back over here and say, I want to make this one dark green, doink, bloop, it just basically puts a dark green blob there and then blends out to the next node, which here happens to be yellow. But if that yellow were made white, then all of a sudden we start to see a lot more complex things happening. So you can see I can kind of make an interesting shape that has highlights and shadows on it just using the mesh. So I could draw one shape and do a lot of controls in here. So if you find yourself on project one, self-portrait, wanting to do this trick for your face and use these shadings on there, you totally could. If you find yourself thinking that mesh is not complex enough, I want to add more complexity to it, you can just click again with your mesh tool and it will add more complexity so that you can do finer gradations of things. Because I had white selected everywhere I clicked, it's giving me a white mesh, but it's also giving us that kind of very smooth, glittery almost look. So hopefully that answers the question for you about how does this work? How do you use the mesh tool and what sorts of things can you do with it? So there is the answer to that. Don't be a mesh. Sorry for the dad jokes. See ya.